it's Michelle with Pink and Main. Sorry about the phone in the background. They always ring at the proper times, right? I thought I'd pop in and go live on this Monday um, and just do a Make It Monday with Michelle. How about that? I have created or started some Valentine cards weeks ago and never got around to finishing them, thinking I had plenty of time. And now look, here it is. Valentine's Day is just a couple days away. So let's get started. We're just going to make some fun foiled Valentine cards today. All right, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you're having a great Monday so far. I am going live on Instagram for the first time, so I'm trying to figure out just how it's going to look and how we can set up so that you can see what I'm doing, because we just get so much screen on Instagram. So I'm going to do my best. We're going to be using our pretty pink mink machine. That's our Pink and Main mink machine for foiling today. So I've turned on this switch in the back, and I'm just going to click the gold button over to number 3. That is going to be a good heat and pressure for us for our foilables. If you find that your foil starts to wrinkle or whatever, maybe your machine is getting a bit too hot, you can always turn it back down to 2. 2 or 3 work great for our foilables. And speaking of foilables, we are going to be using images and patterns from our Two Hearts foilable kit and the Valentine foilable kit. And both of these have great images and backgrounds for Valentine's Day, but beyond as well. You can always use hearts and flowers. And look, this one has dots and stripes as well. So we've got some good general patterns in these too. And we'll just get started with our first card. I've got everything pre-cut out for us. I've got my foil ready. Now, when you're doing toner foiling, that's the type of foiling that we're doing in lieu of the other type, which is hot foiling, that you need hot foil plates for. We want to make sure that we dust off our toner printed designs, which we call foilables. And you want to make sure there's no dust, debris, or pet hair. I know my little Jack Russell Echo is always around, so make sure there's no Echo hairs on anything. Any dust or debris that's in between your toner printed design and the foil is what typically will give you those little black flecks that are left in foiling sometimes. And we can mostly eliminate that by dusting off the foilable and then also dusting off the back of the foil, just gently getting anything off of there. I'm using our cleanup brush, which is just a really soft mop brush there. We've got our clear transfer folder. So we put our foilable in the transfer folder, and then we add our foil to the top, pretty side up. You always want to see the pretty side of foil when you're foiling this way. And I'm using our Roy G. Biv foil for this. That's the colors of the rainbow that I learned. So that's what I called it, Roy G. Biv. It's ROYGBIV for red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, violet. It's just a pretty rainbow foil. So you want to stick that transfer folder in really straight and even into your ink machine. And we'll just let it take it. The ink machine is made for this type of foiling, so it gets to the proper temperature. It has the proper pressure to give you great foiling every time. You can use a laminator, but just note that laminators need a lot longer time to heat up. You want to get them good and hot before you get started with them. And sometimes you just don't get quite the good results that you get with the ink machine. So I'm going to take this out of our transfer folder, but it's important to let it cool off before you peel the foil away. As this is running through the ink machine, the toner ink, oh my goodness, I apologize. I meant to leave my phone in the other room and I can't reach it. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry about that. Oh, I do apologize. It's a phone call after phone call here sometimes. Another manic Monday, what shall we say? Anyway, I was saying, as the toner print goes through the ink machine, the toner ink is kind of melting again, with the heat. So the foil is adhering to that melted toner ink. So we want to let it cool off completely before we do my favorite part, which is to peel it away and reveal your foil design. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my goodness, I love it. Super pretty. And then you always want to keep your negative foil pieces. You see how the design there is in that? You can foil this on a solid toner printed sheet, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and let's foil our other elements. All right, I've got a sentiment. Hello, Valentine. And I've got a heart that I just cut out with my scissors. And I've got 2 colors of foil to go over those. And we can put them both in the transfer folder. Just make sure when you're foiling your pieces that all your toner printed design is covered. You don't want any exposed toner because it will melt and then stick to your transfer folder. So make sure you cover your toner printed design completely. It just takes a few seconds to run through the machine. All right, again, I'm going to take them out of the folder, but I'm not going to do my little peel and reveal just yet. I'm going to let them cool off. So did anyone watch the Super Bowl yesterday? I know that's a silly question. I'm sure many people did. I did not. Much to my dad being a football player in high school and watching football all my young life, I just never really got into it. All right, let's peel this. There we have gorgeous. This is our boysenberry foil. It's like a really pretty metallic magenta color. And for this sentiment, it says, "Hello, Valentine." It's our Fairy Wings Blue, which is a holographic teal foil. And now we're ready to just put our card together. So I have an A2 size card base, which is from our black cardstock called Asphalt. And I'm just going to adhere down the foilable panel first. I'll say hello again to everybody joining me today. Thank you so much. Just thought pop in and make some pretty foiled Valentine's Day cards since it is coming up so quickly. I thought I would foil the black and white stripe, but I think I'm going to leave it as black and white. Since I have my black card base, it'll kind of tie that together. Just have a little strip of black and white stripes there. And then my Hello Valentine, I'm layering it with some of our glitter paper. So you never should be afraid to add glitter with your foil. You can never have too much sparkle and shine. I also cut a strip of the glitter paper to add just on the edge of my black and white stripe piece. Whenever I have two patterns up against each other, I always like to add like a little border of some sort. It just kind of adds a little finishing touch to them and brings them together nicely. So I'll just put my Hello Valentine over the middle. And then I've got my pretty magenta heart that I'll pop up with some foam tape down there. I've got to grab my super giant roll of foam tape. I already had a piece cut on the edge of it, so just cut it down a little bit. Right. I don't want to cover up the word Valentine too much, but I want it to be overlapping just a little. So like bring all the elements together on the card. Oops. I also have some pieces on the inside to finish off. Here's our card. Super sparkly and shiny. I love the rainbow hearts in the background. And then we've got our shiny sentiment. And then for the inside, since it's a black card base, I just cut a piece of white cardstock and some more of that black and white stripe that I'll add at the bottom with a small strip again of that purple glitter, and it just kind of ties the front and the inside together, but also gives you a white space on the inside for you to write your message, and I can glue that down later. Just want to get the majority of the cards done here. So there we go. That's our first card. Debbie on Instagram is asking what foiling machine I'm using, and this is the Pink and Main Pink Mink machine. It's perfect for toner foiling. All right, again, I'm doing another black card base, A2. This is a top folding card. And I've got a sentiment, 2 hearts, 1 love. I've got another strip of that heart background that we're going to foil. So let's do our foiling first. Once again, I'm just going to quickly brush things off so that we don't have any debris or dust interference with the foiling. Let's do the sentiment first, and I'm using our rose gold foil. And it's just like what it says, it's just a beautiful rose gold. We did a project a while back here in the office, and we had just by accident paired, we were testing things out. We paired rose gold with the gray cardstock, and it made a really nice combination. So that's kind of what we're doing here on this card. It also will give a different look to a Valentine's Day card other than your reds and pinks that you might typically use. So we'll set this aside and let it cool. And then we're going to foil the heart background. And I've got a little strip that I'm going to put on the inside of the card. So we'll do that at the same time. And for these, I'm just using our silver cheer foil. It's just a metallic silver. So that will kind of go with the gray cardstock in the card. Even though it only takes seconds to go through the machine, that's always the worst part, is just waiting. Okay, let's pull these out of the folder. And then we can take the foil from our sentiment. Oh, I love that part. 2 hearts, 1 love. So again, this sentiment can be used for anniversaries or wedding cards also, not just for Valentine's Day. And now we will peel our silver foil. Beautiful. I'm going to put this piece on the inside of the card to glue down later. Okay, so let's start to assemble our card. We've got some fun elements to add to this card. The first piece is just our gray cardstock. And then, you can create your own foiled paper. If you take a black toner sheet and you just foil the complete black toner sheet, you create your own foiled paper, which you can then die cut or use however you like. And this piece is not perfect. I used an odd piece of foil there on that one, but I knew I was going to cover most of it up, so that's okay. And then from that foiled paper I created, I die cut with our layered scallop square dies. It's got these funny little bumps on it, and you may say, what in the world? But if you also cut out that same layered scallop die with another color paper or cardstock, you just turn one of the pieces, and so that they lay together and they create little alternating colored scallops. And we have this die in A2 size, so it'll make the whole card, or we have it squares and we also have it in circles. It's a really fun die. I like using it. So I'm going to glue these two together. There we go. And then it comes with a stitch square die that I've used to cut out my sentiment, and that just layers right over the top. And then you have the little alternating colored scallops going around the sentiment. Really fun. And if you enjoy foiling this way, which is super easy and you get beautiful results, I mean, just so easy and simple. We also have a foil subscription, so foil of the month, and you get a whole roll of our cheer foil along with some couple of packages of our foilables. So here's our sentiment, 2 hearts, and I think I want to pop this up on the card, but let me not forget first to lay down our little heart background on top of that strip of rose gold. Okay, there we go. I know when it's laying flat sometimes you don't see the shine of the foil. So I got to show you just how pretty. And that's just a simple silver foil, but it's gorgeous. All right, let's bring out the giant roll of foam tape. You get 108 feet on our roll of foam tape. It's 3/8 of an inch wide, so it's good for putting on things, you know, that are that wide. You can also, I sometimes cut it down the middle and make thinner strips. But it's 1/16 of an inch thick. So it's not too thick, so that if you want something thicker, you can layer it together, but also you can use it and feel confident that it's going to mail. It's going to go through the mail pretty easily. And I just cut it with regular scissors, and I don't have too much of a problem. And the release paper comes off quite easily. I know I've tried others before where you pick and pick and pick, and that release paper just does not come off, and it's super gummy and stretchy, and ours is not like that. All right, there we go. This I would say is my more like sophisticated. This would be perfect for like a wedding or an anniversary. I really like that. And I do like the rose gold with the silver and the black. Kind of has a classy look. All right, let's make another card. I got quite a few here. I hope you don't mind making some cards with me today. So the next card we're going to make is a mini slimline card. And I take our slimline pre-cut and pre-scored slimline card bases, and I cut 2.5 inches off the top. And I'll use that for stamping sentiments and such on. But I make my slimline card 6 inches by 3.5. My mini slimline cards. So we're going to do our foiling first. Dust off all our foil and the toner designs. I want to make sure this solid black piece is nice and clean, clear of any dust. So we're going to make our own foiled paper, like I mentioned before. So I've got one of our just solid black toner sheets. You can see it's just completely printed black. And then I've got our ombre pink and teal foil, just like just kind of stripes of pink, teal, silver, a little bit of purple in there. So we're just going to make our own foiled paper. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. I thank you again for joining me today as we create some fun foiled Valentine's cards. All right, I will let that cool off, and then while that's cooling, we're going to foil our little images that I've cut with our layered circle dies. Got 3 circles here. And I'm going to foil them with our Fairy Wings silver cheer foil. So it's like a holographic silver. And I'm going to turn it over upside down so I can make sure that they're all going to be foiled and they're not overlapping one another. There we go. I kind of support the transfer folder as it runs through the ink machine. It just keeps it nice and straight and even, so I don't have any trouble with it getting kinked or caught in the rollers inside the machine. Okay, and while that's running through, let's peel and reveal and check out our foiled paper. Okay. We'll grab our circles and let them cool. And while they cool, I'm going to go ahead and start layering. I've cut out a piece of our glitter paper, and our glitter paper does not shed the glitter off, and it cuts and die cuts really nicely. So I'm going to lay that down on the card base first. Okay. So that runs the whole length of the card, just has a little white on each side. And now we will add the foiled paper. And out of some hot pink glitter paper, I've cut 2 circles from our layered circle dies, and then I cut a scallop circle. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down the 2 circles that go on the top and the bottom, and I'm going to leave that to pop it up with some foam tape. All right, now let's take a look at our foiled images. Very pretty. But I want to add a little bit of color to these instead of them just being silver. So I've got my Olo markers, which are alcohol markers. I love using these. I use them for all my coloring for my stamps. And I'm not going to worry about doing any type of shading or anything like that. I'm just going to add, just want to add color to these images. And the paper that our foilables are printed on is perfect for foiling. It gives you that nice foiled image almost every time. If you dust it off and don't have anything interfering. But it's not necessarily made for coloring and shading. You can get a little bit of shading done with it. Go in here with a little darker pink. Color a couple more things. A purple color here to add in. We're going to be doing a little bit more coloring on some of the other cards as well. So I'm going to leave my markers with the cap loosely on them. I'm not going to completely close the cap. When you're coloring with alcohol markers, you can do that. You can leave the cap on them loosely, because the more you open and close as you're coloring and using them over and over in the same coloring session, I would say, you create a lot of suction. And especially for the Olos that have free-flowing ink inside the barrel, you don't want to create all that suction. You can actually pull more ink out into the brush nib than you really want. So I just kind of leave the lid. It's on them, but it's just loose. So now I'm going to glue the flower images to the top and bottom circles. And I colored right over some of the foiling, but it still has all that sparkle and shine, even with the alcohol marker going over it a bit. Sentiment goes on the scallop. I think actually instead of making it a like vertical tall card, I'm going to make it horizontal here. So I'll turn it this way. And then I'm going to get my foam tape again and we'll pop up that sentiment in the circle, in the middle circle. Of course, I just toss it down and it sticks to everything. Should be more careful. All right, so there is our next card. And these are all just simple and sweet and super easy, but that foil effect that they have just takes them to that next level, I think. All right, we're not done yet. Hope you'll hang out with me just a little bit more here. We got a couple more cards to create. Isn't this a pretty foil? This is different. This is called our Candy Swirl. It's like red and silver all swirled together. It's really different and really pretty. Just going to kind of dust it off. Got a little fairy wing silver again for this card. But we're using it with red. So we're going to get some red and silver in our cards here. Okay, so we'll do our foiling first. We have the sentiment, says, "Hey, sweetie." I've die cut my cupcake image with a layered circle die. And I'm going to do the sentiment in the fairy wing circle, just like the cupcake here. I'm going to dust this foil panel a little better. I can see a few flecks of glitter on it. Who knows what from? You know, in the craft space, you've got all kinds of things floating around your desk. Okay, we'll set our sentiment aside and we'll foil our heart background. Again, we're going to use the Candy Swirl foil on the hearts. They'll be kind of swirly red and silver. Okay. So I have an A2 top folding card, this just a white card base, and I've cut out of our red glitter paper just a scalloped rectangle, which gives a nice background for our foilable. So we'll pull this out. We can go ahead and peel our sentiment. Love it, came out perfect. Our cupcake, again, is perfect. I want to add just a touch of red to my cupcake. I think I'm going to color the little hearts red. Let's see. This is our 0.6. Just a nice red. It just gives a little pop of color there. So I'm just adhering the cupcake on the circle to scallop circle that I cut out red cardstock. Now let's reveal our hearts. Oh, I love it. Aren't they pretty? Look at that. They're just kind of swirled with silver and red. So pretty. But before we put this card together, I'm going to start on the next card as well, because we're going to do kind of a 2-for-1. That's what I call it. I'm going to show you. So we've got just another black, solid black toner sheet, and I'm going to take that negative foil piece from the hearts that we just did, and we're going to foil our negative foil so that we don't have any waste. We use all the foil. And I'm going to do it in my transfer folder upside down. I find it a little easier to do it upside down when I'm doing the negative, so I can see exactly where my pattern is without having the distraction of the pattern in the foil, so that I can put my toner sheet right where I need to. So there we go. You can see I've got the black toner sheet showing through. Let's run it through the ink machine and see what we got. While that runs through, I'm going to adhere from our first card, the foilable panel, to the glitter paper background. There we go. We have the start of the first card. I love the scalloped rectangle just kind of peeking out around, and with that glitter paper it gives just the right amount of little sparkle and shine added to the card. While we let this cool another second, I'm going to foil the image for our second card and the sentiment. It's a little heart-shaped box of chocolates. And the sentiment says, "Just for you." And I'm going to foil these with our sparkle red cheer foil. I just flip it over to make sure that these two aren't like overlapping each other and that they're completely covered with the foil. While that runs through, let's reveal, oh gosh, so pretty. Look at that. We used the entire piece of foil there, so no waste whatsoever. And then we've created this gorgeous background of red and silver swirl with the black toner showing through where the hearts were. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down to our silver scallop rectangle with glitter paper. That's going to go on the second card we're doing. I started creating these cards, kind of getting the pieces all cut out and ready for them, and I just couldn't stop. I just kept thinking of different ideas, and so that's why we're making so many cards today. But at least it helps to give lots of ideas what you can do with these foilable kits. All right. Let's take out our sentiment and image from the second one. And while it cools, let's finish putting our first card together. So we've got a little strip of red glitter paper to put across. And then we've got our cupcake and our Hey Sweetie. So just kind of see like where do we want all this to go? I think I like it like that. And then we'll do something a little different with the second card. Different placement. We're having a beautiful day here in Palmetto, Florida. It's a little bit cloudy here and there, but we're in the 70s and nice breeze. Hope everyone else is enjoying some nice weather. All right, so there's our first card. Got our cupcake. And when you're doing foiling like this, you want to remember to layer things. So I've got glitter paper I'm using, I've got cardstock that I'm using, but I'm layering in between everything so that it's separated but yet all pulled together as well. It just looks nice rather than just everything just, you know, stuck together with no layers in between. So that's our first card. So pretty. And then our second one, again, remember we used that same piece of foil. Put it together. And remember, you can keep all of these little negative foils and use them with your solid toner sheets. And we have solid colored toner sheets as well. And I think we're going to use that in our last card here in a moment. Let's do this one a little differently than we did the other one, even though it's the same pieces cut out, the same little strip, and let's just put it together a little differently. And then we've got our Just For You, and I think I'm going to add the sentiment on the inside. It just clashes a bit to me, like I was saying before with the layering, it just clashes a bit to me to put that foil on top of that one. I want to separate it some. So I'm going to add the sentiment to the inside of the card. So we'll just open it up and we'll add our Just For You little sparkly red sentiment on the inside. And then we just have our beautiful image and our foiled background on the outside. All right. Okay, last two cards. So these again, I'm going to use the negative foil from one card to create the second card. So we'll start by foiling our pieces. Let's do the background first. I just want to dust this off. I love that rose background paper. Isn't that pretty? And I'm using the Fairy Wings Silver on the roses. While that's running through, I'm going to go ahead and color this rose, even though we haven't foiled it yet. I'm just going to color it real quick. Try not to get too much of my marker on the toner. You typically want to color after you've foiled. You don't want anything in between the toner and the foil. If I just apply a little bit, I think we'll be fine. Okay, I have a question. Jennifer's asking, so I'll go back to this card real quick. Jennifer is asking, where you have the black toner hearts showing through, can you add another color foil to those? And yes, you can. foiling can keep going on and on and on forever. So say I put, if I wanted more silver, I put a piece of silver foil on this. The hearts will then be silver with the red and silver background. Then you have a silver piece of foil that you have this heart pattern on again. You can use it on a solid piece, and it just continues on and on. So yes, you can cover whatever toner you have exposed, you can cover it with more foil. And I was just working on a card yesterday where I did that. I continued it and then used the negative again and again. So I'll have a video coming up where we do that. All right, let's get our foiled panel. And remove that. And then let's foil. I've got a piece of stripe here that I'm going to foil with our shattered pink. And we've got some room. I'm going to go ahead and put our rose in here. And I'm doing that with the Fairy Wings Silver, holographic silver. And while I'm talking about the foiling too, I will mention our foils do not work with the hot foil system. So the hot foil system, where you use the hot foil plates that are like the metal dies for foiling, our foils are made differently. They don't work with the hot foil system. They only work with the toner foiling system, like a ink machine or a laminator. But we have tons and tons of foils to choose from. We have tons and tons of foilables that you can foil. So we have lots of options. We have adhesive transfers. If you haven't tried those are a lot of fun. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish up our foiling so that we can turn the ink machine off and finish our two cards here. I'm going to peel this. Oh, so pretty. I love the roses background, and it's even prettier when it's foiled. So we're going to use this negative piece of foil, and we're going to put it on one of our colored toner sheets. So we have lots of options for colored toner sheets, and it's just a solid toner printed piece of paper, but we have them in different colors. This is one of our color blends, so it actually looks like an ink blended piece of paper. We've got purple in the corner, pink over here, red, orange. So we've got like an ombre effect going on with the colors on the paper. And we're going to add that negative foil to it. And I'm going to do it upside down so I can see where my pattern is and make sure I'm covering my piece of paper with the pattern. And then I'm going to run it through the ink machine. And our colored toner sheets just open up a whole new world of different color backgrounds you can create with your foiled designs. You don't just have to have that black in the background. All right, I'm going to remove this from the transfer folder, and I'm going to turn our ink machine off. All right, let's let this cool a second. And I'm going to show you just, look, you can already kind of see what this is going to look like. It's going to be super pretty. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. We've used that entire piece of foil. No foil left on there. And we've made this beautiful rosy background. Super holographic. And it may not show as well on the camera, but up close I can still see that purple area here and the pink in this corner. Yeah, it's really pretty. I love to use the foil and the negative. Okay, so now we can peel our other pieces. We've got our rose. And you see it foiled perfectly. Even though I colored it first with the alcohol marker, it didn't interfere at all. And then we've got our striped piece. It's just got that shattered pink. Really pretty. So let's start assembling the first card. A few pieces laying around here. The first thing I'm going to do is put the rose panel down on the card base. And I've got a A2 size, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 side folding card that I'm going to use horizontally in our dress shop cardstock. So it's our 100-pound, nice bright pink cardstock. I've got a piece of our silver glitter paper that I cut about 1 1/4 inches wide. As I said before, don't be afraid to mix your foil with your glitter paper. I always say you can never have too much sparkle and shine. They do look really good together though. The glitter paper just has that different texture and shine to it than the foil. Then I'm going to add this little stripe piece along there. So here's what we have so far. Really pretty. And then I think I'm going to get a piece of foam tape for our rose. The rose background is in one of the foilable kits. It's either in the Valentine's foilable kit or yes, I believe it's the Valentine's foilable kit. We're using 2 foilable kits today. We're using the Valentine's foilable kit as well as the 2 Hearts foilable kit. And I believe the rose is in the Valentine's kit. Okay, oh, here's my rose. Hey, Marilyn. Hey, Annette. Catherine, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me. Kind of wrapping up our Valentine cards here. So I'll put my heart there. Not my heart, my rose. And then I've got the words love you cut out. These are from our big love you dies. I just cut out the script love you, and I'll just glue it down right like that. I don't have my liquid glue handy, so I'm just going to leave them on top of the card for right now. Now for our second card, remember we used our negative foil and we foiled this piece. I'm going to layer it on a piece of the dress shop cardstock, and it's going to go on a white A2 card base. And then I'll glue this down to the card base. Oh, I love that. Okay. Now also from that big Love You die set, I've cut out the word love with the big letters. But instead of the O, I cut out a heart. And I cut this from our black glitter paper. I just want to space them out so I know where to glue them down. And then I cut out the U from that little script U in a hot pink glitter paper that I'll put right over that. So let's glue down the love you. Just make sure I have space for this big V right there. All right, so there so far, got our love. And then, like I said, I don't have my liquid glue right here handy. I don't know why I forgot that, but I left it in the other room. But we'll put that U right over that. It's a little hard to see on the camera, is what it looks like, but in real life I can see it really clear. The pink pops up from that black glitter paper. All right. So thanks again so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed these Valentine cards that we created. Did some fun foiling techniques. And Valentine's Day is right here around the corner. So I hope you have a good Valentine's Day. And until next time, my friends, keep living the creative life.